Hi and welcome to day 4 of Gemma's Dog Training Revolution, How to Build the Ultimate Bond with Your Dog series. We are on day 4 and today's all about instant down. So this is something that I've never done with Molly before, so we're going to try that from scratch and then I'm going to show you how it looks with Chase, who is familiar with this game. Okay, so this game is all about building your dog's ability to switch off from something that they're engaged with and to listen to your commands. So what we're looking for is any time that we give Molly the down command, that she can snap into that position straight away, no matter what the distraction. That's what we're going to build up to. So we're going to start by just warming Molly up with a few normal downs. So let's just put her in a sit to begin with. Sit. Good girl. Down. Good girl. So we're just going to remind her what a down command looks like. So I'm going to break her from that position by throwing a piece of food away. Get it. I'm going to take another piece of food. Down. Nice. And just a couple more of those. So I'm going to break from position. Break. On your bed, buddy. Good boy. Down. Nice. Okay, so now that we've reminded her of the down command, now we're going to try and ask for that with a few distractions. So the first distraction that I'm going to ask for is I'm going to throw a piece of food and then I'm going to ask for the down as she's going towards the food. So if I just move her out the way, Mom, this way, wait, down. And then, so this, if you remember from day 2, this is very similar to the it's your choice command. So if we break, so that one was a fail. So we're going to drop the piece of food and then we're just going to look for her to give us that down command. So down, we're going to cover the food, good girl. And I'm going to reward that as I build up the criteria. So down, nice. So see, so that time I threw the food at the same time that I asked for the down command, just to make it a little bit easier for her. And what I was looking for is her to focus on the down and ignore and not go after the food that I've just dropped. So let's move out the way again. So I'm gonna out the way, up, good girl. So I'm gonna go down. Oh, I was too slow that time, so let's try that again. Down, nice. So this food was dropped here and I'm just testing now, like it's your choice. She's not going for it. And then I'm gonna reward, good girl. What we want to look to do is build the difficulty by having them chase the food, and then we want to give the down command and get them to disengage from what they were doing, which was chasing after the food, and to give us that command before we break. So let's break. Down. Very nice. So what I would suggest to make this easier, we're kind of merging the it's your choice game into this to begin with, and we're going to cover the food if they go for it, while they learn that they need to down no matter what the distraction is. So we're going to break. Good boy. Get it. And then go down. 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 Good girl. So she's still a little bit unsure, so let's just try that a couple more times. So, more. Break. Down. Very good. So if that's all you get to on day 1, I would say just keep repeating that process. And what we're looking for is that they can listen to us, which is difficult because obviously when the brain is focused on the food, and especially when we're dropping it and they're going towards it, it's really difficult for them to snap out of that process that they're in, going after the food, and to listen to us and to be able to give us the command that we're asking. So that's all we need to work with it if they're at a beginner level and they've never done this before. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like when we start to build up the difficulty with Chase. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I would build up this skill with a dog that's maybe a little bit more familiar with this kind of behaviour. So to just refresh Chase with what we're doing, I'm going to do similar as I did with Molly as level 1. I'm going to get him broken out of the down position, and I'm going to drop a piece of food, and I'm going to give him the down command as I drop the food, so that instead of the drop of the food meaning that it's permission for him to go and get it, he actually needs to listen to what I'm actually saying, which is to give him a command like down. So let's try that. So break. He's very hungry. Down. Nice. So, break, down, nice. So a bit like it's your choice, I'm just going to warm him up by him dropping the food, because during this game, all the food will be coming from my hand, okay? So this time, when I say get it, that means I'm giving him permission to actually get the food. And if I don't say get it and I give him another command, that it's a bit like Simon says. If I say get it, he can have the food off the floor. If I don't, he needs to listen to what I'm actually telling him to do. So let me show you. So just warm this up. I'm just going to be doing a few get it's, which means he can get the food. So get it, get it, get it, get it, down. And to make it easier for step one, I'd give the command before I drop the food, because obviously he was very much used to getting the food, getting the food, getting the food. So if I just dropped it and said down at that point, I think that would be quite difficult, because his brain isn't quite thinking about what I'm saying. So to help make him think carefully to what I'm saying, I didn't drop the food until after I'd said the word and waited for the down. Good boy. So let me show that again. So we're going to go get it, get it, get it, get it, down. So see how to make it easier, I've kept hold of the food that time. So that's telling him, oh wait, something's different. And then he's thinking, oh, she told me to down. So he's lay down. And then I'm going to drop the food as I would have. And then because he didn't go for it like it's your choice, we're going to reward by giving him the food. So what I would say in that, if your dog's never played this before and they're struggling with that, do all the get it and then don't drop the piece of food, wait for the down. Just try and say it just once, wait for the down, and then as soon as they give the down, then we're going to drop the food. If they do and it's your choice and they leave it, then we're going to pick it up. If they went for it, then we're going to cover it, and then we're going to reward them. So one more time at that level. So we're going to say get it, get it, get it, get it, down. Nice. And then what I would start to do to build that up is I'm going to start to drop the piece of food sooner to after I give the command. So we're starting to have that kind of resistance and self-control come in earlier while they're still in a bit of a frantic state. So whereas to begin with, we're helping them break that focus by pausing with the food in our hand. We're going to make it more difficult by shortening that pause. So let me show you how that looks. So get it, get it, get it, get it, down. See how that was pretty quick? So I dropped it pretty soon after I said down. Good boy. And then we're going to give the food from our hand. So all of the food during this game, when it's either on get it, where they can get it from the floor, or if not, then it's from our hand. Okay, so to make this next level, if your dog is very comfortable with that, and I would stay at that level throughout the whole of this session of Ditch or Bolt, if they've never played this before, if your dog does have a good kind of leave it and understanding and is able to listen to you in a high arousing state, then this is how I'd progress this game. So I'm going to say get it, down. So that time I threw the food as I said down. Good boy. And then I'm going to pick up the piece of food and I'm going to give it to it. So I'm going to say get it, get it, get it, down. So you see how that's really making sure that, okay, that Chase is able to switch off from that state of mind, which is food, 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 and able to listen that and distinguish, okay, when she says get it, I'm getting the food. When she doesn't say get it, what is she telling me? Oh, she wants me to down. All of that is happening in that instant second. So we're asking a lot of our dog here. This is a big deal for self-control. And this took us a while to build up with Chase. So as I said, if you've never played this before, stick to the first level and just really build up from there. Okay, so the way that I'm working to increase this with Chase, and we're still doing this very often, is I would do further distances, which creates more momentum and more drive towards the piece of food. And the ultimate test is to wait for as close as they can get to the food and then give in the down command. So obviously the closer they get to the food, it's harder for them to have that self-control and give the command rather than getting the food. So that's how I would build this to the highest level. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit closer at a time and just see where we're at with Chase currently, with how close I can get him to the food and still able to disengage and look at me and not take that piece of food. So I'm going to go get it, get it, get it, down. So see, so that was a fail. So if at any point in this the dog does manage to get the food and we're not quick enough or we push them too far, it's okay. That was my sign, that was my test to see how close I could get it. I'm going to just build this up a little bit slower. So let's try that again. So get it, get it, get it, down. Good. Now, what I would say to make this game more rewarding for the dog, okay? So obviously, from their perspective, if Chase didn't listen, he got the piece of food. There was actually no real motivation for him to not get that piece of food, because the reward was the same whether he took it off my command or on my command. So what we want to do, we want to make it more rewarding if he shows that self-control and restraint. We want to increase the reward so that actually if he fails and gets the food, the reward isn't as high as it is if he listens to me. So the way I would do this is two ways. Either get some super high value tasty treats as well as the ditch the bowl. So if this is just his normal breakfast food, I would just use that as the single pieces that we're throwing and reward with the high value if they manage to leave the food when we give the command. Or we could increase the volume. So rather than them just only one piece of food, if they ignore us and get the food, if they do what we ask, and then several pieces come at once. So that's like increasing the value. So let's try it that time. So once they start to clock on that actually if I show the restraint that they're looking for, I get higher value, then you'll really start to see a difference in their engagement with this game. So let's try that again. So get it, get it, get it, down. Too difficult. Get it, down. So I'm going to go right back to the basics just to try it one more time. Okay. Get it, get it, get it, down. Nice. So see, this time I'm going to pick up several pieces as the reward so that he really understands that there is motivation if you resist one, you get several. Get it, down. Nice. So several pieces there. Get it, down. Nice. So you can see how over time we just want to really build up, and I'm going to give him the rest of that. So you can see that the more you play this, the more you can really start to test the boundaries. And the ultimate way, and what I would do is maybe introduce some super high value rewards when we're working at the highest level here, is that ideally you want your dog to be within that drive and that chase towards the piece of food, and then we want to snap them out of it with the instant down. Obviously this is a super transferable skill to outdoors in the environment. If we think for a dog like Chase that loves to chase squirrels, for example, then when if he was mid-chase, maybe we didn't notice that there was a squirrel or something out there for him to chase, and he was already in that drive mode, then a command like this, maybe if your recall's a bit wobbly, to be able to give that instant down while they're working towards something and honed in as Chase was there with the food, for them to be able to disengage that quickly and give us a down command, that's all we need to kind of break that focus, and then it would probably be a lot easier to recall them away. Whereas to recall them from that chase is quite challenging. So this kind of acts as an intermediate for me, and I think this is super useful to just have that emergency down when you're out and about. So yeah, I would get to work on trying that game for today, and let me know how you get on in the comments below.